Okay, so I chose to do my media fast on a day after I'd been out the night before, because I knew that basically that I wouldn't get up till probably 12, 1ish, which would pass the time a lot quicker. I was apprehensive about starting the media fast at first because I know how much that I do use my phone. You know, I do text a lot through the day, and to not have that kind of point of communication there, I was prepared for it to be a bit strange. So I got up at about 1 o'clock, and my first reaction was to want to check my phone, you know, after a night out as well. My flatmates usually text me just to see if I'm okay, and I see if they're okay, ask how we're feeling, rather than getting up and actually going to each other's door that's like a 2-second walk away. And I couldn't do that, so that was strange. Then when I get up, I usually put my music on straight away, and I couldn't do that either. So that was weird, just having silence in my room. I'm not used to that. Yeah, so then I usually start getting ready, just get myself dressed and washed and changed, and go on Facebook. As soon as I'm sorted out, I go on Facebook, you know, and you'll check for pictures from the night before or anything like that. I couldn't do that, so that was weird as well. I was quite stuck with things to do, to be honest. I thought about reading, but obviously can't do that because that's media as well. So in the end I just decided to tidy my room. I mean, it's always a mess after a night out anyway, but I tidied up and I cleaned my bathroom. I thought about hoovering but didn't want to wake everyone, so I didn't hoover. So yeah, I finished that probably around, if I got up at 1, probably about 2, half 2ish, 3ish. And then eventually I did hear one of my flatmates go to the kitchen, so I kind of followed them and tried to make them stay in the kitchen for as long as possible and just speak to me. And luckily we had like a lot to speak about because we'd been out, so that wasn't too bad. And then everyone else kind of came into the kitchen. By this point it was getting close to tea time, so that talking passed the time. And I didn't feel too bad. Like before I began, it was only been a couple of hours like without social media, but I'd begun to feel quite isolated. I mean, obviously Facebook, you know, it allows you to speak to so many different people and you've always got that point of contact there, and you suddenly take that away and you have to go and make an effort to speak to people face to face, and which is nice and it's better, I guess, but just not having that point of communication there feels quite strange. You feel really cut off from everybody, and you know, like you're missing out on something. Especially like if you want to check the news or see what's happening or anything like that, and you just can't do it. You don't know what's going on in like the outside world. Obviously uni's quite a secure little bubble anyway, so to take that kind of internet away is really isolating. But anyway, yeah, so speaking to my flatmates was fine. I didn't really notice the fast as much. But then I was thinking about it in the kitchen. In fact, we were talking about it in the kitchen. We were talking about media fast, you know, and what counts as media. And obviously speaking, using your voice kind of counts as media. And there's so many, like using the food, there's instructions on the food, there's instructions on the hair products that I'd used this morning. You know, there's media on everything basically, and it is impossible to do a complete and utter media fast. Okay, so my media immersion, as soon as I get up, I usually check my phone, check for messages, Snapchat, Facebook, all those kind of things on my phone. I did that straight away. I kind of responded to a couple of texts that I'd got, kind of checked Facebook messages. I don't think I had any, so I didn't do that. And yeah, Snapchats. So after this, I get up, put my music on straight away, get dressed, sort it out. I was looking as well. I was looking at like my face wash that I use and stuff, you know, and the directions on there. There's branding, there's logos on there, so I documented all of those. You know, I was looking around my room. I just kind of sat down for a second, and you know, I've got things on my walls, products that I use around the place, and they've all got logos on them, they've all got advertisements, they're all branding something, you know, and I was thinking there's so much media in this room that I never thought of. I mean, I literally just I expected this to kind of be a social network based thing, a phone based thing, but when you really think about it and when you go into document it, there's so much media around you that you don't even think about, you just take it for granted. I kind of noticed this like all the way through the day. I went on Facebook on my laptop, and immediately on the Facebook homepage there's like 5 different advertisements there waiting for you, and usually you just ignore them if you're not interested in that kind of thing, or you just wanted to send a message, or but they were there, and every time that you change the page or you refresh the page, basically 5 more advertisements pop up, and if I renew the page say 3 times, that's 15 advertisements that you've been exposed to already. So yeah, this surprised me straight away, and I knew that I'd be even more surprised by the end of the day, because I wasn't expecting it, because you don't think about these things. It's almost as though media is kind of naturalised and, just something that we just accept. We don't even think about it. So yeah, I carried on with my phone through the day. I was texting people, messaging people on Facebook, being exposed to these advertisements. I actually didn't really leave the flat that much through the day. I think I left the flat once just to walk down to Spa on campus. But I counted 25, billboard advertisements on the way there and on the way back. And getting into Spa as well, the amount of products that are in there, the amount of advertisement that are in there. I think I must have seen over 100 just from that 5-minute walk to Spa, which again, I was really, really surprised about. You don't think about these things. You don't always take notice of the advertisements, to be fair, but when you're told to take notice, it is really shocking just how much media is out there. So yeah, I was surprised as well by how much I use my phone. I had a phone. I've got an iPhone, and before my iPhone, I didn't really use my phone that much. It wasn't as easy to text. But now that your iPhone's there and you've got everything on it, it's like a little computer that you can take out with you. You're never off Facebook. You're never off Twitter. You're never not in contact with somebody. And obviously, like in the fast, you feel so isolated without it. It's really, really strange just how isolated you can feel without that little device. So yeah, I was just really shocked about the amount of images that are around there, and the amount of things that we're exposed to. And we just take it for granted. We don't even think about it. It's just something that's there, and I think if you took it away from people, life would be really different, and I think people would struggle. Like I do text my flatmates. If I've got a flatmate next door, if I want to speak to her, I'll probably text her or message her on Facebook, rather than getting up and just going and doing the 2-second step to her door. Like literally, I'll just text her. So yeah, I think media helps people, but I also think that it probably does make us quite lazy in some ways. Rather than getting up and doing things, we can just sit and do these things from our room. I also do think that we message too much. I think face-to-face communication is important, and I think there's probably has been a bit of a decline in that since social media came along and since mobile phones came along. Okay, so that probably concludes then my video blog on my media fast and media immersion. So thank you.